Joe.
I am David Jacoby.
And on the cool check-in.
Together, we are Jalen Jacoby. What is it that we do, Mr. Rose?
We get the people what they want.
Well, if the people wanted a weekend full of discussion about LeBron James coming to Los Angeles, that's exactly what they got. Him and the Cavs did come to Los Angeles. They lost to the Clippers on Friday night. And then on Sunday, they lost to the Lakers. After the game, LeBron James pointed at the injuries that the Cavs have been plagued with as a reason for this loss and a couple others. But in their last 6 games, they are 2-4, Jalen Rose. Are LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers still your pick to come out of the Eastern Conference and go to the NBA Finals?
They are, because LeBron has been fantastic as an individual the entire season, a career high in assists, been efficient from three-point range, has shown me that he's improved in clutch situations, even without Kyrie Irving. And I agree with him. They're without their second-best player, an all-star in Kevin Love, who's going to give them three-point shooting, can post up, and also is going to rebound the basketball. And an energy player is going to give him size and activity in Tristan Thompson. I think once they get healthy, though the Toronto Raptors continue to be formidable, they look good here recently, especially beating the Houston Rockets and ending their win streak. I still have to pick the Cleveland Cavaliers, led by the King, to win the East at this point.
But if you look at these last 6 games they've had, one of the things that's plagued them all season long has come back again, and that is defense. Their defensive efficiency has been pretty awful in the last 6 games. And with all of these indications, it seems like even myself, you know I'm a big LeBron stan. I love LeBron James. I've been telling myself that it's going to be LeBron and the Cavs. It's going to be LeBron and the Cavs. But the more games you watch, the more stats you look at, the more you see the Raptors ascending, the more even I, as a huge LeBron stan, I'm starting to question whether or not the Cavs make the NBA Finals. None of this is making you waver at all about this?
Well, I appreciate, again, the improvement of Toronto Raptors, in particular, how they built out their bench. Van Vliet is shown to be a guy that can be productive, pressuring the ball, making threes, playing fourth-quarter minutes. Powell gives them defense. Miles gives them three-point shooting. Like, they've built out their roster. They have Valanciunas down low with Serge Ibaka. We know about their all-star backcourt in DeRozan and Kyle Lowry. But LeBron James is also a catalyst on the defensive end. And when the playoffs come, he's also a guy that's got to play a lot better, be more competitive. And when they're able to score the basketball, when Kevin Love returns, that's also going to help the balance of their defense, because teams are going to be taking the basketball out of the net a lot more.
Well, the Warriors had a couple of games. And guess what? They found themselves in a very unfamiliar position, and that is on a little bit of a losing streak. After Steph Curry tweaked his ankle, he missed a game against the Blazers, which they lost. And there's this game you're looking at right here against the Timberwolves, which they also lost. Jalen, how much of a concern is Steph Curry's health as the Warriors head into the playoffs?
It's a huge concern. I stand on the table screaming that it's a major concern. Here's why.
Why's that?
In Steph Curry's early career, his MVP career, his championship career, he's had 17 documented ankle injuries. 15 of those have caused him to miss a total of 70 basketball games.
Wow.
And we're not even talking about what took place in college. The reason, in theory, why the Golden State Warriors were able to build their dynasty early on is because of Steph Curry's ankle injuries, as opposed to him getting a major contract earlier in his career. He signed a 4-year contract that was modest at the time because you didn't know how healthy he was going to be at around $40 million. This allowed them to have the cap flexibility to build out the rest of their players, which have ultimately led to them having Kevin Durant on the team. So, yes, if he's not fully ready to go, and the Houston Rockets have clearly improved their basketball team, that's a major concern for a team that's already thin up front, other than Draymond Green and Kevin Durant playing quality minutes.
And you mentioned it, is the ankle injuries of Steph Curry giveth and taketh away. There certainly, he signed a $44 million 4-year contract. When he had those ankles injuries and surgeries and procedures, that's only $11 million a year for someone who's a unanimous MVP, which, as you mentioned, helped them build out this roster that they have. But Jalen, if you look at his long history of ankle injuries, it seems like every single season he's got one or two, and usually it's always the right ankle. As someone who played as long as you did in the NBA, is this just regular wear and tear, or is there something about Steph Curry's body or the way that he plays that makes him susceptible to extra ankle injuries?
This is not wear and tear. What this is certain players have a frequency to getting injured. It just happens in professional sports. Look at the landscape of the game right now. A couple of the top young big men, Joel Embiid, Anthony Davis. While you marvel at their talent, there are times where they seem to get nicked up, banged up, and injured to different extremes. And for Steph Curry, this is something that's plagued him for a really long time. Now, all of a sudden, when it continues to happen, as the season progresses, it can and it is becoming more of a concern for me for a Warriors team that's looking to be back-to-back champions.
Well, in the Western Conference, it seemed like all season long it was Rockets and Warriors, and then the Spurs. Warriors, Rockets, and then the Spurs. The Spurs just seem to be in that number 3 spot, but guess what? Things have shaken up a lot recently. We watched the Spurs lose to the Thunder this weekend. Tonight they play the Rockets. It seems like Thursday night against the Pelicans they're going to get Kawhi Leonard back, but if you look at the Western Conference standings, they are right there at the bottom. They are only 1 game or 1.5 games or half game up on this big clump of teams between the 8, 9, and 10 spots. Jalen, do you think the Spurs will miss the playoffs, something that seemed impossible just about a month ago?
Well, I love Pop, but I think he should never wear that blazer again. Huge fan, by the way. I think the San Antonio Spurs can never be discounted. And I heard you say something that was really profound. Was it the fact that Kawhi Leonard would return this Thursday?
Yes, that's what's being reported this Thursday against the Pelicans.
Since that is the case, I believe because he's going to be in uniform for parts of this month to try to get himself acclimated for a playoff run that starts in April, this now catapults them into a playoff berth. I think his health is going to be paramount to whether they make it or not at this point of the season because, as you mentioned, from 3 to 10 is basically a log jam, and teams are only separated by a few games.
So his health has been something that we've been tracking all season long, and it's been sort of a mystery. It goes back and forth. He came back, and then he went out, and then he went to New York, and him and the Spurs were supposedly they had different feelings about the rehab and the direction that he was headed in. Jalen, how important is it for this stint of Kawhi Leonard being back on the floor and playing that it goes well and that he's healthy? How important is it for the relationship between Kawhi and the Spurs?
I think it's going to go well. And it's really important that it does for a few reasons. One, you hope that he's just able to play pain-free. And I think him taking this period between when he got cleared to when he actually is going to play on the floor is going to be a major key to him having the confidence to not only perform, but perform at a level that he's used to and we're used to seeing him play at. And I think that will take place. The one thing we know about Kawhi is going to play hard.
Yep.
And he's going to give that level of effort, no doubt, on the defensive end. As a guy that's been the player of the year on that side of the basketball, he's going to lock up as long as he's breathing. Now, once he gets his legs underneath him and continues to stay aggressive on the offensive side of the basketball, I think he'll be just fine.
Well, when we come back, Odell, Mr. Beckham.
OBJ.
Odell Beckham Jr., what are you doing?